G Brove, everybody. Welcome to the first episode of Just Brove It, a Brove's series into BTCFi. And a series where we'll be exploring the BTCFi scene that is currently thriving on Starknet. So I'm really excited at the guest that we are hosting today. But before presenting our guest, our first guest of the series, I would like to play a 1 minute video to let you know what Brove is and what is our vision. Brove is a BTCFi-focused identity and multi-service platform where we leverage the power of Starknet ZK tech to prove and track Bitcoin-related activities, which allows us to create customizable boxes called Brove boxes that can be completed if you meet the particular BTC activity set as a parameter. And we also offer the possibility to create a Brove passport that will be your companion throughout your Brove experience. Once you create your Brove passport, you get an initial score based on your Bitcoin activity, and the same score will increase as you interact with the different Brove boxes and services that Brove has to offer. Furthermore, at Brove, we also aggregate the best Starknet BTCFi protocols and services such as bridging, swapping, one-click deposit into lending pools, borrowing, staking, etc. Last but not least, we have recently begun at producing an in-depth card game, Brove Royale, where your game power is correlated to your Brove score and overall activity on Bitcoin and on Brove. So if you don't believe me, just go to brove.io and just Brove it. Okay. Welcome back, guys. Welcome back, Brovers. So it's now time to present our guest for today. And I'm talking about our friend Niels from Vesu. Hello, my friend. How are you?
Hey. Hello, Northstar. Hello, everyone. Thanks
So
for having me.
it's amazing to have you. And how is it going? So what are you doing during these days, and what are you up to also as a founder of Vesu?
But days are very busy on Starknet. Since when was it? October or September even,
September,
when
right?
we launched BTCFi and BTCFi Season, the rewards program. There has been a lot of development happening on Starknet, on Vesu itself, to facilitate all the features, that you can now access with your Bitcoin on Starknet. So, days have been really busy, but I think we see all the work that we at Vesu and also the ecosystem invests being rewarded. If you look at the numbers and the metrics, you can tell that there is a huge appetite for yield with Bitcoin assets and for accessing liquidity for loans with Bitcoin assets. So I think, the best reward as a builder that you can get is that you see that people actually like what you build and people actually start to use what you build. That's been really exciting to follow.
Awesome. And also, let's have a step back towards the last 2-3 years. As if I remember well, you started developing Vesu in 2023, right? If I'm not
Correct.
wrong.
Yep.
So just let's have a very quick trip backwards. So how were these 3 years, and what was the mission and the vision that brought you up to today, and what were also your greatest achievements during this time?
Yeah, sure. I always like to tell kind of the story about when we started building Vesu. The lending markets like Vesu didn't exist. So I have to tell you what I mean by that. Vesu is fully permissionless lending market model where anyone effectively, and in particular third-party curators, can set up new lending pools, lending agreements on chain in a fully non-custodial way. So that was kind of a break from the previous pattern where lending was always governed through a DAO or just one central entity, which kind of was gatekeeping the assets that were onboarded. And so this initial vision that we had was we don't actually need this central gatekeeper that ultimately governs how assets are added or lending pools are created, right? And why did we think that we want to build a different model? Because whenever we have some centralization involved, things get slower. There is oftentimes a lot of politics involved.
Lots of drama, right?
A lot of drama too, which also makes the industry really
Entertaining.
life spicy, right? But yeah, I mean, it also means that you can't scale as much and as fast as you could if there was no, central kind of player governing all those things. And so that was the original vision. And over time, we realized there are other teams building on that same vision. Now we see Morpho. I think this whole model of open and permissionless lending infrastructure rather than one product, let's say, is now very well accepted. And we see, for instance, Morpho being the second largest lending infrastructure on chain. And so, yeah, it's been really interesting to see that other teams have had the same ideas. And I think that also validates us. I think the biggest achievements, one of the first thing we wanted to achieve is to become the go-to lending market on Starknet. And this is what we have achieved. I can, say now, and why I really think this is a very important signal for us as a team too, is because a lending infrastructure, while it's completely on-chain and completely non-custodial, from a user perspective, it still requires a lot of trust in the team building infrastructure, right? We all know what technical issues could be in the code base. So where do I send my funds to, right? I need to trust this infrastructure a lot. And so being able to, become the go-to lending market, what really validates here is that we were able to convince the team, the ecosystem, that this infrastructure is trustworthy and is built with a lot of focus on security. We didn't have a single hack or so or exploit so far. So you can trust those smart contracts that your funds are safe.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks a lot for enlightening also your journey as Vesu. And switching back to the BTCFi main topic of today. And, it's been a while that BTCFi and especially like the Bitcoin related strategy of Starknet was unveiled for the first time. I think it was near Easter 2024. If I remember well, and then gradually there were a lot of implementations, a lot of announcements, and dual settlement was announced, being able to provide for security to the Starknet core security layer by also staking BTC, and I also noticed that Vesu played a pivotal role and a central role during this process as the main lending platform. And so I wanted to know how was your experience during these 2 years of BTCFi development on Starknet, and also what you did during these 2 years as Vesu.
Yeah, sure. I think for the entire ecosystem, having a North Star like Starknet, Starknet chain, everyone building on Starknet, turning into the backbone of the Bitcoin economy, right? I think that's been very very energizing for everyone involved, right? We know it's good if you have a North Star. It's important as an ecosystem, as a community, to have a North Star. And this North Star, BTCFi, is a really exciting North Star, right? I mean, if you look at Bitcoin, as an asset or an asset class, it's the largest crypto asset that exists. It has most reputation. So you can imagine that there is lots of value that can be unlocked around just Bitcoin as the asset, right? Building this backbone of the Bitcoin economy is something that drives us, every day. I think, again, for us at Vesu, but everyone in the community building, towards that goal, to see that this flywheel gets started with lots of Bitcoin assets incoming into Starknet overall. I mean, if you think about it, Bitcoin assets in terms of TVL has flipped ETH, for instance, on Starknet, right? I think it's even the largest asset securing Starknet as a chain now. Seeing that just validates and is a big reward for everyone involved here. I think in terms of the process overall, right, that we have gone through over those months or even years from, the first concepts or ideas being communicated, what's been really good to see is how the ecosystem really coordinated around that rollout of BTCFi, right? I mean, kind of, let's say the rollout was in September, October, but before that, there have been many months of work where teams prepared, and that was not just building products, but those preparations actually are, go much further. I mean, you can have the best lending market if there is no liquidity in that lending market, or if there is no liquidity on the DEX, then this doesn't help much, or it actually doesn't provide for a good product, right? So the level of coordination there, everyone involved, excited, participating in this, that's been really good to see, and I think that's really a strength here also in the Starknet ecosystem, that we have this shared kind of North Star, and everyone is working towards that.
Yeah, absolutely. These have been very crazy months, and I also think that this is a kind of pivot towards Bitcoin, while also keeping the alignment to Ethereum. Also managed to bring a lot of people who used to be also Ethereum maximalists, right? Once again towards closer to Bitcoin, and also it is my case, because I remember when I started being involved on Starknet in 2022, I was on a point that I wasn't holding a lot of Bitcoin, actually. I was all in mostly on Ethereum, and also in terms of content. But then I also, obviously, the bull run proved us kind of wrong, right? That's in terms of price action, and we all understood that there was also a bigger value in Bitcoin, and also in terms of community, and in terms also of liquidity, right? So we are Starknet. We are trying to make Bitcoin more usable than just beyond holding. And this is also, if I can take advantage to spend some words also on our BTCFi mission as Brove. We also want to leverage Starknet's architecture to aggregate and unlock the full potential of all the BTC wrappers and BTCFi protocols that have been implemented in the BTCFi season, and also while waiting for the for OP cut and or similar alternatives that will make will enable native BTC compatibility with Starknet, and but until that we are focusing in leveraging the power of Starknet BTCFi, and at Brove we have a dual user environment, where we have on one hand, like we implemented Bitcoin L1, where Bitcoiners can connect their Bitcoin wallet, view their BTC balance, track transactions, and manage activities such as sending and monitoring their BTC assets, in this case, like most of all rooms. And then on the other hand, they can also connect to Starknet. And this very same user can just, with a click, they can just connect on Starknet, and they can interact obviously with wrapped BTC assets and have a look at all BTCFi opportunities across the Starknet BTCFi environment and scene. And obviously they can lend and borrow. They can take advantage of Vesu, of course, and we also want to thank Vesu and you, Nils, for helping us a lot during these months, and to be also one of our main partners in this. And then also user can stake, can LP directly from Brove. In fact, yesterday we just implemented Ecubo, so people can LP directly from Brove, and they can LP on BTC related pairs, and yeah, they can also bridge, of course, and do many other things. We are also working on an in-depth game that we'll be speaking about later on, maybe. And yeah, so we last but not least, I also wanted to highlight that we are also betting on Bitcoin related identities. So thanks to Starknet Tech and to the Cairo written Bitcoin client called Raito and the Stone Prover, we are able to issue cryptographic proofs that enable a concept called Brove boxes. And Brove boxes are magic vaults that can be customized to cryptographically prove user activity related to Bitcoin. And this can be done using zero knowledge proofs. And we can prove transaction sites in sats. We can prove historical Bitcoin activity periods. We can prove specific deposit or interaction partners. And this enables potential also marketing related initiatives where protocols such as also for example, Vesu, they can create their own Brove boxes and reward or attract potential Vesu users using Brove boxes. And yeah, so moving to the next question, I wanted also to know your view on Brove. What do you think of it, and what kind of value and help you think we can bring to Vesu and to the whole Starknet BTCFi ecosystem? Last but not least, also, what do you think of our UI?
Yeah, lots of good questions. First of all, what's really exciting is on the technological level, right? With CK technology, what you can build these days with the main tools being out there and open source available, right? You mentioned, you can prove all sorts of things that happen on any chain effectively, right? So Bitcoin L1 or on Starknet, or it could be any chain, right? And that's powered by CK technology, which of course, Starknet, Starkware have innovated and spearheaded. So this is really exciting, And you said before something very good, right? BTCFi is still very much aligned with Ethereum, right? And I can just second that. I mean, BTCFi still runs on Ethereum effectively, on Ethereum L2s. And so, this is very, very much aligned. And what I still think is really cool with, again, CK technology and other things now is that we can get closer to actually build something natively for Bitcoiners or for other ecosystem, right? Because you can start to prove data that's not on Starknet, but on Bitcoin. And you're using it for some very specific things, which is like a passport or Bitcoin identity, right? In some sense, and I think the whole identity on-chain identity vertical has been really a frontier for a long time in DeFi and in crypto. So with no one really being able to deliver the solution that kind of scaled, right, in terms of creating an on-chain identity. But it has a huge potential if you're able to actually achieve that. And in particular, also for lending or DeFi, one of the things that I'm excited about, but that we just haven't been able to achieve so far is like uncollateralized loans, for instance, right? If you think about lending, it's all over collateralized. This is how we go around, that this is how we enable being completely anonymous and stuff, right? But if you have something like an identity where you could almost like build something like a credit history around, and you can actually lose your reputation and stuff, you can start to think about many other types of products, which at the moment we cannot build, right? So I think, identity is kind of a piece in the bigger puzzle to onboard also more users, different users that currently are not on chain, right? So yeah, from that point of view, it's really exciting. I mean, what's been kind of a barrier for these solutions so far is that you need to get adoption and at scale for this identity to really make sense. And I think Brove has some potential to actually even add value without reaching that state, right? And again, going back to the technology you're using, ZK technology, at the moment you use it to prove some activity on another chain, and that's it, to create like a passport on Brove. And what would be exciting is if at some point there could be a mechanism where I can also, based on what I can prove, that where I could, let's say, lock something on Bitcoin, right? Because then an entirely new kind of design space opens up, also again for DeFi or BTCFi products. So I think there is, a lot of potential in what you're building. I think you asked about the UI too, right?
Yeah, just a few words, and then we'll wrap it up, because I know that we are running out of time, and I don't want to abuse too much of your time.
Yeah, no, I mean, on the UI level, right? I think aggregators, I mean, it has a character of a super app, right? You can do really all sorts of things. It can be your app for all things DeFi, BTCFi, which really offers a lot of value. So you combine all these things. As a user, I don't have to go to all sorts of different websites to access my portfolio, to be able to, LP on a Kubo, to supply on Vesu, or borrow, which which adds a lot of value and good UX. I think in terms of the design and all, it's fun to use Brove. And then here and there are some things that can be improved, like everywhere, like also in Vesu. I think arriving at the best UX is really still very difficult. But I think it's fun to use Brove, and I can recommend anyone just to take a look and try it out.
Thanks a lot. Very cool considerations, feedbacks, and suggestions here. And so let's finish this first episode of the Just Brove It series with with a question about the future, about the new year, which is around the corner. So what kind of new BTCFi related features we might see on Vesu during the next year?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think what I want to highlight here, what we are focusing on at the moment is liquidity. Again, you can build the best features and everything the best feature that you can actually get on a lending market or on a DEX is liquidity, right? And so being able to offer the best rates for borrowers and the best yield, risk-adjusted yield for holders of Bitcoin or also other assets. This is what we are focusing on, and one of the key, activities that we're doing is to make sure we can add more liquidity, offer the best liquidity for all sorts of sizes.
Nice. We'll looking forward to what's coming in 2026 for Vesu. Just let's spend also some words on what we would like to achieve in 2026. So during these last months, we focused a lot on development, and we can say that we now have a solid product that obviously needs a lot of improvement, but at the same time, the main concept is there, and our main goal for 2026 is reaching as many users as possible. We also want to go outside, let's say, the Starknet ecosystem, in sense of trying to attract people who are outside the Starknet ecosystem, and like people who have very little experience with blockchain in general, like, for example, developing a mobile app as well, and trying also to onboard like our families, our friends, and having an app where they can do stuff on chain, thanks to Starknet, right? Without them even having to understand what Starknet is, right? This is our main goal for 2026. So also partnering with different communities, let them understand also the potential of BTCFi on Starknet, the solidity of protocols like Vesu, which are building on Starknet, and on the other hand, reaching users and turning so-called normies into Brove users and into Starknet users. So this is our main resolution for 2026. So it's time to say goodbye to our first guest of the series. Thanks a lot, Nils, for coming. It was very kind of you. Looking forward to seeing you back in the next year.
Yeah, thanks a lot for having me. And yes, see you again in the new year. Good luck and have
Thanks a lot.
Good time.
Likewise. Thank you. Likewise. Take care, Nils. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, guys, let me play one more time our ad video. Brove is a BTCFi focused identity and multi-service platform where we leverage the power of Starknet ZK tech to prove and track Bitcoin related activities, which allows us to create customizable boxes called Brove boxes that can be completed if you meet the particular BTC activity set as a parameter. And we also offer the possibility to create a Brove passport that will be your companion throughout your Brove experience. Once you create your Brove passport, you get an initial score based on your Bitcoin activity, and the same score will increase as you interact with the different Brove boxes and services that Brove has to offer. Furthermore, at Brove, we also aggregate the best Starknet BTCFi protocols and services such as bridging, swapping, one-click deposit into lending pools, borrowing, staking, etc. Last but not least, we have recently begun at producing an in-depth card game, Brove Royale, where your game power is correlated to your Brove score and overall activity on Bitcoin and on Brove. So if you don't believe me, just go to brove.io and just Brove it. So, guys, before closing this first episode of the Just Brove It series, I also would like to shout out to our founder, Nadai, and to all of our team at Brove for organizing these episodes. And I also would like to thank Mark from Vesu as well for the support. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Just Brove It series. And see you on the next one, most likely in 2026 as well. So if we don't see each other earlier, Merry Christmas and a very good Happy New Year. Take care, guys. Bye.